Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to Pretty Good Cooking.
Pretty good.
Tonight on the show, we're gonna make dal makhani, or makhani. Depends on how you want to say it. We've made many types of dals and lentils before, primarily because I really like to eat them. This one is a little bit different in that it's less healthy than your average dal, I suppose. But even with it being unhealthy, you know, eating lentils, it's good for you. We all should be eating more lentils. And that's as preachy as I'll probably ever get. The way that we're going to do them tonight, it's a weeknight. We are going to do them in an Instant Pot, and we're going to try to make it pretty quick. But this dish, at least restaurant style, is often stewed for like a day. We don't got that kind of time by any means. If you have the time and luxury, you need to soak your lentils. These are black lentils, sometimes called beluga lentils. So I have 2 cups of those black lentils, and then I also have some dried kidney beans, about a half cup. I believe that this is hubris. I wanted to make a shitload of dal, so I'm doubling recipes that I base this on, but it expanded so much during soaking that now I'm worried it's not all gonna fit in the pot. So will it fit in the pot or not? We'll find out together. Put your bets in the comments below and then get instant gratification as you find out. Okay, so Instant Pot, you can turn it on to saute. All right, so we'll let that heat up and we'll start prepping some veggies while the pot heats up. Here I have an onion. I don't all the time use red onions for this kind of thing, but I think it's fine. I don't think it matters too terribly much. We'll go ahead and peel that. And I am gonna use this whole giant onion because we're making a lot of lentils. So, need a lot of onion. And actually, just looking at how that half of an onion chopped up, never mind. We're gonna use half an onion. That's plenty of onion. By the way, I am drinking alcohol in my big diluted old man drinks that I like to drink now. This is a vodka seltzer, but it's heavily diluted with ice. If I seem like I got low energy today, it's because I'm coming off a 3-day weekend. Had to go back to work. Life sucks when the weekend is over. It doesn't suck, but you know, it's like, why couldn't the weekend just last forever, right? Okay, so I chopped that onion. It looks great. Okay, in the Instant Pot, take some ghee and get it melted in that pot. You could use quite a bit of ghee. You know what? We're gonna add more butter later too. So this is how you make vegetables unhealthy. Here I have 2 tomatoes. These are homegrown. I think my mother-in-law grew these. The Instant Pot, doing that, making that sound means that it's hot now. You know, so that's good. That is good. You can puree the tomatoes. You can actually use canned tomatoes if you want, but chopped is just fine too. So I'm gonna chop it up. Oh man, that's a bad way to chop a tomato. What I just did there, that was terrible. But it's okay, it's fine, no problem. Okay, so what we're gonna do to start opening up the flavor, I've got some cumin seed here, quite a bit. This is probably like 2 tablespoons or like several teaspoons, or I don't know, I didn't measure. And I'm not good at guessing volumes, but go ahead and knock those into the ghee. You'll see they'll start to sizzle right away. And I got a couple bay leaves you can throw those into. Those will crackle a little bit. One of the nice things with the saute function, this is one of the only times this is nice, it doesn't really get that hot, which is exactly the opposite of what you want for a true saute. But in this case, like, we don't really have to worry about them burning because we would have to walk away, maybe forget what we're doing, which never happens to me, and come back like 15 minutes later, and then it probably would burn. But yeah, so we'll let those sizzle in the ghee for a minute or 2. If it was hotter, you know, obviously that would happen faster. So I'm gonna keep working on chopping tomatoes. I'm gonna do a better job this time, and we will be back with an update shortly. All right, I'm totally full of it, and I might have burnt like 2 cumin seed in there, but it's okay, it's no problem. Not the first time I've been full of it. So get your onions going in there, and that'll stop the burning. That's how it works. In most applications of burning or fire, throwing onions on it will not fix it, but today that is the answer. It doesn't even smell like burning, therefore it's not burning. I almost got my tomatoes chopped. My tomatoes? I guess that's what you call chopped tomatoes. My tomatoes! Alright. Garlic is optional in all these kind of things. That's because like part of India eats garlic and the other doesn't. I do eat garlic, so I'm gonna put it in because I like it. But you can take it or leave it. And I'm just gonna chop that up while I keep moving those onions around in the pot. I think I'm gonna do around 6 cloves of garlic because, you know, I like it a lot. So. Also, we're making a load of dal. So much dal. I'm gonna eat it and be happy for a long time. Back in a few. Alright, I like how my onions look. They certainly could be more brown, they could cook down more, but I'm just gonna go ahead and throw in the rest of our veggies. I kinda think it's probably too many tomatoes from what would normally be used to, but I don't care. I love tomatoes. Give that a mix, and if you did burn anything to the pot, the acid in the tomatoes would help remove it, making sure that all that burnt stuff gets into the rest of your food. Tee-hee. And to this we will add, this is some coriander powder, probably like 2 teaspoons, because we're making a lot. Actually, I'm sorry, that's 1 teaspoon. And then a bunch of chili powder. Typically you would use Kashmiri chili powder. This restaurant dish usually has like the vibrant red, but I just have regular chili powder. Quite a bit, it's like more than a tablespoon. I don't know, some amount, you know, very helpful to John. And then, of course, we'll add some turmeric, but not too much. Don't want too much. Too much turmeric, it'll be almost bitter tasting. I definitely remember in some of my early days of cooking, trying this food out and adding too much turmeric, and then the dish just tastes like turmeric, which it's not the best. Definitely not the best. So at this point, because we have a bit of a masala going, we want it to cook down. It's okay to just kind of let it go for a little bit. Let it cook kind of into a paste. Make sure you stir it around from time to time. You know, the longer you do this, the more the flavor is developed and blend. The texture breaks down of the vegetables depending on how you cut them. But also you can kind of just say F it and move on with the dish if you want to. Other things you can add, it doesn't really matter when you add these, but you can add some chilies. These are unripe cayennes from my garden. I'm just gonna add a couple of those for heat. And one of the ways that this is done is just to split the chilies in half and just throw them in whole. So that will give the dish the chili flavor, but it'll be very clear if you're gonna have a bite of chili in your bite or not. It won't burn John too badly, which is important. Also, you may notice I did not put ginger in this. Ginger goes in all kinds of curries and dals and masalas and stuff. Totally up to you. I saw some recipes that included it, but most of them did not. All right, this is looking pretty good. All right, so that's simmering away. Now let's put in our lentils. Let's all pray that it all fits. So I am gonna strain my lentils. Once again, this is 2 cups of lentils, but it has just expanded like insanely. So hopefully we'll be okay, but I kind of suspect we will not be okay. In an ideal world, you would wash the lentils over and over and over until they completely run clear. Oh God. Well, I'm committed to making a lot, so, you know, if it's messed up, I'll just try to fix it rather than avoiding a mistake. Because I think that part of PDC is appeal is watching me make mistakes and not necessarily fixing them, but we'll see. It might be okay. Actually, I do think it's gonna be okay. I feel better about it now. So you can go ahead and mix your lentils in. Also, something to think about is whether you want to add salt before or after. Salt will change the way that legumes cook, such as the beans that are in this. I've pretty much always salted this kind of stuff. Well, let's just not salt it. Let's see how it comes out not salted. An experiment. All right, now here's why I have worry. I gotta put a bunch of water in there. With the just doubling the ratio, I gotta fit 6 cups of water in there. What could possibly go wrong? Here's 4. Oh, it's looking good, John. We're gonna have lentils for the next month. And 6. Boom. Not even close to the top. No problem. Wow. Boom. Fantastic. Okay, so now it looks like something like your sink backed up. That's good. But again, this is the Instapot version, right? It's gonna look like garbage and it's gonna be approximate to a meal when it's done. But it's fast. That's why we're doing it. Did I forget anything? Yeah. So I have this Fenugreek powder. I was gonna throw in a little bit just to give an approximate taste. I actually don't think this tastes like much of anything at all. It does have a distinct smell. But a lot of times it's added at the end. I'll just throw a little bit in and we'll call it kosher. You could absolutely add whole spices, you know, the Garam Masala type spices. What I'm going to do instead, again, this is the fast version, is that I'm gonna add some Garam Masala powder near the end of cooking. I don't think there's a whole lot of benefit in using the whole spices in a pressure cooker, but you can, you certainly can. So, with that being what it is, go ahead and pop it on, turn off saute, turn on the pressure cook, to high. And we'll start with 30 minutes. I saw a range of 5 to 45 minutes, which is an incredibly high range. Actually, we'll do 35 because I'm making more of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that bad boy going, and then we'll add some more things to the dal when it's completed cooking. One of my biggest fears in my short experience with the Instant Pot is that I've filled it up so much that it'll be more difficult for it to build pressure. And if that's the case, it also could burn to the bottom, which obviously is not a good thing. So hopefully none of that happens. Everything goes fine, because surely everything will go fine. I'm hoping I can come back in like half an hour and be like, everything was fine. So we'll see. We'll be back. All right, so we pressure cooked 35 minutes. And then we let it go through around 10 minutes of natural release, but I'm impatient, so I'm gonna quick release it now. Letting it natural release lets it continue to cook at pressure as it comes down to pressure, so it's just like adding more cook time. Quick release is a way of getting this open in a hurry. So essentially when you quick release, you're stopping the cooking, versus natural release, you're letting it continue to cook. So you just hit the switch. And it takes, a minute or two, but essentially it's gonna let out the excess steam, and then we can open it, see what's going on in there. We'll be back. All right, now that it's safe to open, let's see what we're working with. Did they cook? Are you cooked? You can see that the lentils have turned brown. Okay, good taste. Fully cooked lentils. Those were our objectives thus far. Let me check a kidney bean as well, which I'm sure is gonna burn. All right, everything's fully cooked, so that's good. Also, there's no salt, so I don't like that, but that's okay. All right, so we cancel, and we're gonna go back to saute, which we use the saute feature in order to keep this kind of bubbling. And I don't want it high necessarily, so I'm gonna try medium, see if that works. And you're supposed to have kind of a silky, velvety texture. And in order to achieve that, you may need to mash up some of these beans. You can do that with a potato masher. So very carefully run the masher through. I am gonna go ahead and salt it. This cries out for salt, because otherwise it's just a big unsalted pot of beans. All right. Now, some people say that this dish gets its name from, like, the dal means lentil, and then Makhani is similar to the word for butter. So you do put butter in it, but I don't know if that's actually true, if it comes from that or not. So you can do some pats. Ultimately, you just want like a couple tablespoons of butter. You can go ahead and pop those in. If you're trying to like impress people on Instagram, some people actually top it with like a little bit of butter at the end, but this is home cooking, so like, if you're actually just throwing on pats of butter to your food at home, you should probably think about that. Think about the implications of that. Actually, I think I'm gonna have to turn this temperature further down. That's more of a rolling boil than I would prefer. I really just want it to simmer. And I gotta say that texturally, this looks pretty good so far. We do have some whole lentils, but we also have, a pretty healthy stew going here. So when I get that temperature a little bit lower, I'm gonna add in some cream. All right, let's go ahead and add in some cream. The cream amount is up to you, but typically what you do with these kind of things is you run it through like this. I would say that was probably like a 1/4 cup of cream, and you mix it in like so. And that looks good to me. We keep adding it, at some point it's gonna be too much. I think this looks pretty nice. And of course, again, Instagram type picture taking. You can do swirls of cream on the top when you finish it. I am not going to do that. I am gonna go ahead and salt it. I'm gonna try to err on the side of less than full saltiness so that we can adjust it at the end when we actually plate it up. Not everyone likes it the same amount of salt, but this is missing the baseline amount of salt for sure. I tell you what, if I ever have to not have salt, I'm gonna be real sad. I like salt a lot. It's good. Also, I'm worried that the low temperature is too low, because now it's not bubbling at all. We'll give it a quick second to see if it comes back up, but essentially, this is just about done, but you can let it simmer in the pot further, and the texture will continue to improve. But looks pretty darn good to me. So we'll be back in a couple minutes. Yum, yum, yum. We'll be back. All right, so I ran the masher through a few more times, and you can see we've obtained a thickness that is desirable. And if you find your bay leaves, go ahead and pull them out. It looks awesome. We are gonna eat it with rice tonight. Made some brown rice. So I might, like, I don't know, add rice at the end. I'm not really sure. I am gonna put some cilantro on it, because I like cilantro. But like we mentioned earlier, you might add the dried fenugreek leaves for a little bit of green, a little bit of flavor. But cilantro is just fine too. And if you want, you also could kind of freshen this up with a little bit of lemon juice. To me, it almost looks like black bean soup. All right, let's give it a taste. I've already tasted it, so I know what it tastes like, but super good. Our version ended up not being spicy, like at all. So you could always add chilies if you wanted to, but it's really, really creamy. One of the reasons I think I like this is that it actually tastes more like lentils than some of the dals. It's like we didn't cover up the lentils too much. But that is delicious, and I'm looking forward to eating this forever! It needs more salt too. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I do think that the butter and cream make this tastier than a lot of the other dal recipes that are out there. But we didn't add so much that it obviously tastes unhealthy. And I always like when things are like not obviously bad for you. So yeah, we'll see you next time. That's how you do it. I'm gonna put rice in this.